Okay guys, this time we're doing a little interview a little differently. We're talking with Marc De Vellis and Melvin Teu. Teu? Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Let's get it wrong. We're talking about the NFS world now, and we just got a few questions that we want to ask you guys to see whether or not we can get some ideas about what's going on in the future. So first question is, with the new cars that are coming up, is there anything that you can tell us that are in the lineup, in the pipeline, that people are going to be excited for and what they're kind of expecting?
Yeah, I think we touched base about this a little bit earlier, but I think the norm will be always classics, tuners, muscles, exotics. We're getting a little bit now into some of the vintage racers. There's at least one sort of concept car we had planned that's like that we've never used before in Need for Speed, so that one will be coming out. We're basically trying to build out different types of car lists and different pillars, if you would, and basically experimenting in those. So we're trying to cater to the biggest audience as possible. We're trying to make Need for Speed World have the biggest car list in any Need for Speed ever. So, whether that is, like I mentioned, tuners, exotics, muscles, maybe even a cop SUV we're prototyping with, things like that, looking towards next year.
Okay, is there any game modes that you guys have been told about or suggested that you want to look into as well?
Yeah, there's some great community, the community reps in there just were mentioning with helping facilitate, even yourself mentioned with the ball in the stadium. I think that's kind of cool. I think putting lamp posts in different places so that users can do their own drag racing, unofficial drag racing. I think that's pretty cool. I think we're going to take that to heart, get the feedback rolled in, and see if we can implement that sort of stuff. Now, as far as official game modes, more game modes that we've talked about with Tier 4 release next year would be like a speed trap. What's the fastest you can go through a certain section, and posting that to your friends. The other one would be like partaking with the canyons. When those come out next year, what sort of game modes would the community love? We've canyon run, whether it's downhill, it's a sprint race to the bottom with you and your friend. Is it maybe knocking you off the canyon? Things like that will brainstorm.
I think we're exploring different free road-based game modes as well.
Yep.
A lot of our users like to do cruising and free roam. Treasure hunt is a big hit so far. A lot of people are playing it, so we're trying to find ways to make it more accessible, more fun, just so you can cruise around.
Yeah, and catering to those sort of game modes with Treasure Hunt 2.0, like Melvin just mentioned. How do we reward players that play on a daily basis and play for 2, 3, 4 weeks consistently? We're looking at ways to basically guarantee them, if you play for a couple weeks every day and you complete it, you're basically going to be guaranteed like a pro part, for example. So basically giving those rewards in certain game modes.
Okay, speaking of pro parts and such like that, do you guys have any idea of maybe some new parts like colored wheels or colored tires? That way it puts out a different type of smoke, so you can have red smoke off a red tire and go from there?
Yeah, I think right now the plan for visual customization, say 2.0, or the next stages of visual customization, we're looking at more license plates. How do we make more custom neons? How do we make our own body kits? That's first and foremost. We've definitely talked about more rendering possibilities, such as, like you said, colored smokes and all that, whether it's different particles coming off the car like we saw with last year's Snowflake. Definitely that comes after the things that I mentioned before with the the license plates and neons and all that.
And there's some really cool stuff we can tie to like holidays that we talked about. We did a lot of brainstorming about. I mean, the Snowflake was tied to Christmas, and then we had like Beauty and the Beast with the
Valentine's
Day. So plenty of stuff.
Those were like our little experiments to see if it resonated with the community. Those are actually some favorite cars. So going a little bit crazy on certain angles is definitely something we're exploring.
Okay, and how about private races where two users can choose their start and finish and have it as an open, organic type of a race?
Yeah, I think, like we just mentioned with putting like the lampposts and all that, putting things right now where they can organically race will be probably the first step, because that's easier to facilitate. Now, we have talked about, that where a user chooses point A and the other user chooses point B. I think that's a great idea. I just think right now, in the next 6 to 8 months, we have so many priorities that we're trying to get to and deliver that won't happen in that time frame. But will it happen after? It's a possibility. right now we're looking at how do we fix matchmaking? How do we make it better? How do we make the progression experience more rewarding? How do we reward users that have a big car list? How do we add more cars? How do we take skill points and make them more accessible? What do we do with the miscellaneous part? How do we make those? That's our priority right now. That's our world that we're living every day and trying to implement in the next 6 to 8 months.
Now, dropping the bomb on you guys, we've had a lot of people complain about chat hackers and speed boost missing. Are you guys constantly looking for these development bugs so that way we can get them cleaned up?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You're speaking to the guy who's doing all the banning as well. Like we mentioned earlier, how many fans play Need for Speed on a daily basis, monthly basis, and we are basically making bans every week, hundreds of them, just trying to clean it up. But because we're such a popular title and we grow so much a day, a lot of users might say, oh, they're not making a difference. It's just that how many users we have. But definitely we're with chat, we're finding that security-wise, every day.
We have a dedicated security team looking to all the different ways of people exploiting and chatting and hacking the game.
And ironically, with the people hacking and exploiting our game, they actually help to make our game better because our security team basically acts on it on a daily basis. So we're making leaps and bounds in those areas.
And that's where all the feedback that comes through the link helps as well.
Yeah, link is vocal. Feedback comes in, boom, it goes to the dev team, and it makes it back to the dev team. So.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate the interview, and hope to see you again in the future here with Need for Speed.
Thanks.